Sean, should we be worried about the dynamic between Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow? Because today it was revealed on the Quarterback Show on Netflix, a clip from during the season after they beat the Titans but played a very sloppy football game. Joe Burrow, who's typically very cool, calm, and collected, was very upset with their sloppy play. Zach Taylor tries to come over, tries to, just be like, hey, man, we won. Like, it's okay to relish in the fact that we won. And he talked over Taylor and said that was embarrassing, saying that their performance was completely embarrassing. Weird relationship. Taylor cut to an interview question of him, like, sometimes you come into these emotional situations and you got to know that you're walking into an emotional situation. I feel like that this is getting overblown because I feel like Taylor saying that after the fact kind of shows that he's stepped into these conversations before. We all have situations where friends and people we know, colleagues, getting emotional. Mm-hmm. We know how to cut in. That's how I'm reading into this. I don't think that this is some lack of respect issue that people are making it out to be.
I don't think it is either. I think it's watching a head coach deal with a player in a bit of a tantruming state. Not a full-on tantrum from Burrow. I'll give him that. Mm-hmm. He was pissed, though. A pissed Joe Burrow that we rarely see. Disappointed, I believe, in himself and the team. And generally, I think that the way Taylor approached the tantrum is how he should approach it for 52 out of the 53 players on the roster. That's great. It was professional, keeping guys positive, keeping them up. This is the quarterback, though. This is the starting quarterback that has the full pulse of the offense. He knows as good as the head coach, if not better, how this team is playing, how they're meshing, how it should be running, how the offense should be moving. And Zach Taylor was a little dismissive and a little laissez-faire about it when the quarterback is trying to be a leader and say, we need to, when he's saying we were embarrassing, that he's telling Zach Taylor, you need to fix this ship. You need to get these guys right because I'm MFing Joe Burrow doing my best and we're beating the Titans. I can beat the Titans for you, but this does not play against good opponents, and it didn't for the rest of the year.
I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, how else is he supposed to communicate with him? Is he supposed to just ignore him and let him melt down on the sideline?
No.
How else is he supposed to go talk to him? He kind of is right in that way. You won the football game. Yeah. The time to acknowledge and communicate with your team that you were embarrassing and you're making a lot of sloppy mistakes, it's in film the next day. It is when you're breaking down the film and you're going, we can't do this, this, and this. Highlighting the amount of offsides, penalties, false starts, whatever it was that you had in that game that needs to be better for the following week. But if you're being pissy, I hate framing this with Joe Burrow because I really like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
If your leader comes into the locker room and you just won a football game and he's not only upset, but shouting down everybody, including the head coach, that shakes the core of the team. Like that really, how are you supposed to get excited about winning ball games if that is the reaction?
Because he felt the underachievement looming. That's how. And they did underachieve last year, and they underachieved the year before. And I think Burrow is, tired of the injuries with himself. And when he's healthy, he wants everything to run smoothly. I get the frustration. You're just back to work. You wanted to dive in and be great again. Sometimes there's limits. And in football, there's a lot of speed bumps. So I think his expectations for himself are incredibly high. And I wouldn't say that a lot of players on the Bengals have matched the level of intensity, energy, or talent level needed that Joe Burrow has set for the team. You have a team where one of the two best players on your team is the quarterback. You got to step up then. You need to, or else you're going to have more weird, embarrassing seasons like this. I think Joe Burrow is a smart guy too. You have to be a kind of a freaky smart person to play quarterback. He knew it. He smelled it in the air. He knew they were going to keep being shit. He knew that all this nonsense, all the sloppiness, and which was the only reason Cincinnati lost ball games last year. The defense was bad, but they scored enough points to be in games and win games without the sloppiness, no matter how bad the defense was. But the slop killed them, and that goes right up to the head coach. The quarterback can't make sure that every player is lined up perfectly. He can't make sure the defense doesn't make stupid penalties, and he can't control offsides on the offense. That goes straight to the top with Taylor, and it was a direct statement to his face saying, I did my job. You didn't do yours today. And
what? Go ahead.
And I just think it's reflective. I think it's accurate.
I get that you can kind of sense that the wheels are going to fall off and you need to focus and lock in. But where they were bad was out of Taylor's control and it was out of Burrow's control. It was their defense. And their defense is bad because their awful front office is bad at building a roster.
That's true.
And can't keep people on the field. I don't think that those focus lapses were anyone on the offensive side of the ball's fault. It's nothing that they can control. One thing is true, though, is Burrow is still going to be here if Taylor gets fired at the end of the season. And Taylor is clearly and has not been expressively brought up. I feel like a lot of hot seat conversations, but he is on the hot seat. If they don't go to the playoffs again this year, he's probably going to get fired. One Super Bowl is not enough to keep him alive.
Yeah, it's a lot to say in July that a coach is going into the season on the hot seat when he's had really good seasons and he has a top 5 quarterback in the game. Like it's rare to be saying that. But right now, looking at Taylor, it needs to be some big step this year. Somehow Cincinnati needs to come out of the gates like the Saints did last year. They need to, because if it comes out and it looks like this same Cincinnati Bengals team where incredible play, disaster 2 quarters, and then you need 4 incredible plays in the 4th to get a win. That can't happen. The NFL teams are too good, and better coached teams will continue to beat the Bengals. I'm genuinely, this is the most interested I've been in the Netflix quarterback.
I actually might watch it.
Like, I actually might watch this just to see more of Joe Burrow, Zach Taylor. The Kirk stuff, I'm not getting too deep into it. People are
shit. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch it for Kirk.
Falcons Twitter is already freaking out because Kirk read a book. He read like Drew Brees' book. I didn't even know Drew Brees had a book. I'm gonna do some things.
There's a lot of coloring pages in there.
Yeah. I'm not going to be mean to Drew Brees right now because NFL player learning from a great NFL player, it makes sense to me. But holy hell, I just have no interest in Kirk. I have so much in Burrow, so much invested in him because he could be the future, a massive piece of the future in this league, and he needs to stop being let down by his coach.